So, this is going to be for the bamboo X1 carbon over there. In order to use it, you need to use Bamboo Studio. So we'll just like go through the steps of like getting a model into Bamboo Studio, and then like the most common operations you do with it, and then how to put it into the printer and get it started. So this is Thingiverse, which is a popular website for downloading 3D models. Here's a random model, and I'm just going to download it really quick, and then we'll open it up in Bamboo Studio if the internet works. Wait, oh, I already opened it. Okay, all right. So, this is the model. Let's download all files and Sleepycat save. And then I'm going to go into Bamboo Studio. I'm going to go to import file, and then go to downloads. And there should be, so sometimes you have to go to File Explorer and extract the files first. Oh, this one came as a G code. I've never seen that actually. Okay, in that case, maybe we can just so, oh wait, here we go. Sleepycat. Okay.
I'm just hiding.
Extract. Show extracted files. Okay, Sleepycat is right there. Let's go to Studio, import, and then in documents we should have Sleepycat right here. Okay, you're gonna go to files and then cat.stl. It's gonna be an STL file or files, depending on the thing. But alright, so this is our Sleepycat, and it's huge. So the first thing that you want to do to move around like this in Bamboo Studio, you hold down the center button, and then to turn, you left click, and you can turn around the model. I want to make this a lot smaller, so I'm going to go to the, there's a bunch of tools here. I forget which ones are which by the icon, but I'm hovering over and you can see like the little, names of the tools: color painting, measure, where's scale? Lay on face, scale, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna make this smaller. And it says uniform scale, so if I change any of these, it will change them all in proportion to the other ones. If I uncheck this uniform scale, then it will change them individually without changing the other ones proportionally.
So this is going to make the cat smaller when you actually print it?
So right now it's starting at 100 scale. So if I change this to like 25 scale and hit enter, it should change it to 25 scale. Okay, so this is...
Little cat.
Yeah, this is small enough so that, or at least small enough so I want to work with it. And then, okay, so on the left hand here, we've got all this stuff about the print. So here at the top, you have like the type of nozzle, and it's always going to be at noisebridge. We have a 0.4 millimeter nozzle in there, and you're doing a great job with the camera, by the way. Thank you. So it's going to be like we have a 0.4 nozzle, so you're always just going to leave it on that and never going to want to change that. But if you have questions about what is the most up-to-date thing at noisebridge, just check in the 3D printing channel. Here is the plate, and so we have different like plates to print on. You can see here, this is like a print plate, and so there's the engineering plate, which is good for some types of filaments. There's a couple of other types of plates. For right now, just leave it with the last one that was there. Sometimes Bamboo Studio will complain and be like, you can't print this type of filament on that type of plate, which you might have to change the type of plate in order to get it to work so that it'll actually give you a file to print on. But I think in practice, there's a little bit of wiggle room. You can print most kinds of things on most kinds of plates. I don't know, I'm not.
Is there a way to check that, or a place to check that, or just Google it?
Yeah, you can Google it. You can Google it. But yeah, so okay, and then so once you've chosen the type of plate, so typically I think at noisebridge we have the engineering plate, and then the I think there's also a textured plate, but the engineering plate works for most things. We have an engineering plate, so if you select that, usually it works. I'm just gonna leave it on the last one because I don't know. But okay, and then the type of filament. This is important. You need to change the type of filament to be the type of filament you're going to be printing in.
Yep.
And so there's a bunch of like proprietary bamboo types, and then there are. Oh, why is this not letting me scroll? Okay. And then down below the proprietary bamboo, there are the generic types, and all the ones that we have at Noisebridge are going to be the generic types. But I think I'm not sure what the like chemical difference is, but I usually just select a generic type, unless because I don't know, and it will select like the right like print settings for everything based on the type of filament they're using.
If there's an issue with the selected plate, will it tell you?
Yeah, it will tell you. So before when you go to slice, it will tell you if there are things that are incompatible.
Okay,
so,
great.
So yeah, but in practice there is some wiggle room. I think you could technically print probably any type of filament onto like the wrong type of plate. And that sort of thing I think matters a lot less when you don't have an enclosed print environment. When the print environment is enclosed, it's a lot warmer and the adhesion issues are a lot better, or at least like a lot less adhesion issues. So, so yeah, and then this is, I don't actually know what this menu is for, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Okay, so there are a few other menus here that are good to know about. So quality, you can change any of these like presets, but for the most part, you don't really want to mess with it unless there's something specific you intentionally like know that you want to change. For example, this file, if I slice it, I'll bet this file needs supports in order to print correctly. And so if I go to slice, it will like probably tell me like, oh hey, this needs supports. You should turn on supports. And so we'll wait for it to slice. And does it not need supports? I guess it doesn't, or at least it didn't say that it needs support, so I guess it doesn't. But I'm just gonna turn it on anyway, so you know what happens when you do. So if you turn on supports, it will force you to reslice, and so go ahead and reslice, and then it will show the supports that it generates. And you can see now we've got supports on our model for the overhangs. And you can adjust the supports. You go into the support menu, enable support, the type of support. You can do tree supports, and normally it's a lot more actually options in the support menu. But
if it doesn't need, is it best practices to always check the support box and see if it adds stuff on, or?
No. So supports, you should only put supports on if you know that you need them, and that is to say, like usually Bamboo Studio is pretty good about detecting models that need supports.
So it would let you know.
It'll let you know, yeah. But that said, supports are not always like there are times when it might say like, oh hey, you should have supports, and like you actually know that it's not good. It takes longer, and also it makes the print less quality if you add supports. So sometimes you can turn them off, and there are definitely situations where you might want supports on some part of the model and not all the parts of the model, and there's a tool that you can use to so up here we've got these menus up here. So prepare, this is the oh, is this why I won't? Actually, I don't know why it's not showing me the rest of the options in the support menu, but I don't know, this is just a rough overview. So we can turn on supports, and then in this menu, in the prepare menu, if we have supports on, we should be able to also go to why is it not giving me? Actually, I'm very confused about why it is not. Oh, that's why. Okay, I wasn't selecting the cat. I was selecting
the plate.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, so now we got, this is the support painting tool, and so you go in here. You can see all the places where it's going to have supports. The red is where it's going to put supports. And you can specifically select areas of red to remove supports from. So if I don't want support, like say around the bottom of the tail, like I don't think that's important, I can select. You can select an area, and you can deselect an area by it's like right and left clicking is essentially how it works. So I just like painted that purple areas where there's not going to be supports. I want to actually use the fill option here, and then if I do this, oh whoops, so Control Z to undo, and then why is it not selecting just the area? I want to select just the area.
On overhangs only, maybe.
Oh, maybe, yeah, on overhangs only. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so
nice.
now so now all that area will not have supports on it, which might make the print faster, and also like this area under the tail and under the butt might be less quality without supports. But it probably will still print just fine. This area up here though might be like super bad quality because this overhang is like very steep, And so in the places where like if you want higher quality, or if like there's just like a lot of weight to the print there, you probably want supports.
So you'd leave that one.
Yeah, so I probably would leave this. But yeah, you can edit the supports in this menu. And also the tree supports are kind of cool. So if you switch the option here to tree, which I typically like tree supports. I think that they are a lot easier to clean up. So now if you slice it, you can see that the supports are tree shaped now, and I think they're just way easier to remove. So I like using the tree supports. There's a few other things that we could go over here. Why is it showing me this? Okay, so now we're in the preview view right now because we sliced it. If we go back to prepare, then we can do some other stuff. So for example, let me like just move this model. I'm gonna rotate it so that I'm gonna intentionally rotate it so that it is like not flat with the bed. There's another tool that you can use here called Auto Orient, and this will automatically rotate your model for like the flattest part to be on the bed. And this is a really handy tool. So if you have models if you have like objects that are like shaped funny and you don't want to like manually get them as close to the bed as you want, this tool will automatically orient it to the bed. Sometimes it picks a surface that you don't want to be on the bed, so you might have to rotate it until like a surface that you do want to be on the bed is closest, and then do it, and then it will like automatically put that surface on. But yeah, and then there's some other tools here like this one will if you have multiple objects, it will do its best to arrange them in like an optimal way, and often it will like if there's a lot of them, it will split them out onto multiple plates, and it'll give you multiple plates. This one is for moving, but if you go into this mode, this is just the normal mode, and so you can move it around like this. You can also, if you grab these little arrows, you can move it up and down, and so on and so forth. We already saw the scaling tool. There's lay on face. I have no idea what that is actually. The cut tool is pretty cool if you need to like cut your model into pieces for any reason. You can you can move these dials. And actually, I don't really want to move that. But you can move the dials. You can also move the height of the cut. So, like, say if we wanted this to be 100, and I didn't change. Okay, 10. All right, so I just cut off like the bottom of this model.
Oh, I see.
And then perform cut. It cuts it, and then you puts it in 2 parts. So that's cool. You can also measure the distance between things. So if I want to like the distance between this part of the ear and this part of the ear, it'll tell you like how far those are. The measurement tool, I don't actually really know how to use it that well, but anyways, okay, all right. That's most of the stuff you need to know to be able to like edit your models a little bit. There's also this objects view over right here. So there's this global, shows you I guess all the print stuff, which for the most part 99% of the time you're just going to leave the presets as the presets. There are some things you might want to change, like if you want your print to be really strong, like the default it's going to print is like relatively weak. Like it'll do two loops around the outside. So wall loops, these are like how many loops it does around the outside, and then it'll do some kind of infill for like the void spaces inside. You can make your print a lot stronger by increasing this number of wall loops, and also like increasing let's see, sparse infill density, and this will just like increase the number of like the density of the infill that it has inside. You can also choose different like infill patterns, but the default's pattern is probably fine.
If it's like something that you're going to be using, like it has like it's not just sitting, like it's going to be.
Yeah, if it needs to be like strong, like to do structural things, but also just keep in mind that any extra strength is going to correspond to that much more time and also that much more filament being used to create the print. So you can make a print you can make a print in like 15 minutes, or you can make a print like 5 hours just by changing these settings. So
if something needed to be strong, would it say on the design if it's a pre-made design? Like, would it?
I don't
know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if you have multiple print objects, here you can select them or deselect them here and do different operations. So like for example, before I was giving us issues, like so if you want to select one print and change like the supports for it or like the print options for it, and then select another object and change the options for it, you can select the different objects here. And that is like most of the stuff that I know about Bamboo Studio. Okay, so when you're done with changing all your settings, go back here. Have we actually slicing? Okay, it's slicing right now. And
how long does it normally take to slice?
Like 5 seconds.
Okay.
And yeah, if there's any problems with the print, like if it says like overhangs detected, you should turn on supports. It will do that after you slice. And then you can go up here to print plate and select the print option, and it should send it to the printer. And yeah, okay, so that's everything about Bamboo Studio. Let's talk some stuff about the printer now. One more thing is that when you have sliced it, oh, where's the view print plate? It is not showing actually. Well, usually there's a little slider that allows you to, okay, slice. And here we go. Here's the slider. So here in the sliced view, you can actually look through the print and see exactly how it is going to print. And this could be pretty useful if you are like, if there are particular dimensions or parts of your print that you want to come out a very particular way, or if like the different objects on your plate are going to be like close to other objects and you want to make sure that like things are not physically too close to other things. This will show you exactly how the print head is going to move. And yeah.
Do you normally print, if you have two objects that you're printing, you can print them kind of at the same time next to each other, or do you normally do them separately?
What is this? Oh, this is the actual G code. So yeah, you can fill the whole print plate up with objects. And oh yeah, this is something else. So these little lines right here, these are things that the Bamboo will always do this in order to, and it's part of the calibration. And so when print is starting, you always want to wait for it, usually about the first 10 minutes, and make sure that these lines go down and they look good. And also there's usually another line that goes over here in this corner. And just make sure that they look good. If they're not sticking, if they're bubbling, if they're not there, like it thinks it's extruding but it's not, then you want to stop and restart and check and make sure everything is good.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so we got, this is the screen, and yeah, you might want to get a close up. So there's a little SD card slot here, and I'll tell you how to do this, even though you probably shouldn't need to. I don't have fingernails, so I'll just use a tool to get it, to push this in and pull it out. But SD card, if you are putting files on the printer manually without over the network, then use the SD card to put them on there. You go to the SD card, and then here to see the files that are on the SD card, and you can select one and hit print now, and it'll start the print. If you want to, let's see, actually settings, no. Where is filaments? Okay, so if you need to change the filament, you're going to come into this menu, and obviously the printer will not be printing, but there's a load and unload option. Just hit unload if you want to unload. It'll heat up the print head, and when it's ready, when it's hot enough, it will say please remove the filament. You can pull it out. And
where do you do that? Just at the top?
At the back. So you kind of need to turn the printer to about 90 degrees so you can see the filament at the back, but you're going to pull the filament out, and then put the new one in. There's something that is very important, which is that you're going to have a spool of filament like this, and this is actually bad practice. So you're going to pull off the filament, and you want to make sure that when you do, you're going to take the tip and not drop it. You want to make sure you put it through one of these holes. The reason is because when you drop it like that, it literally just dips underneath one of these other loops that are loose on the roll. And then what that means is that later this is going to turn into a tangle at some point in the future. And that will for sure ruin your print. But it will also, I don't think it's good for the printer. The printer makes really nasty noises. So if you're ever like printing, or you come into the print shop and it's making nasty noises, it'll go like that, then you want to stop it, and yeah, probably like whoever's print is going to be ruined. But yeah, stop it.
So make sure
don't
to
let it continue.
Okay.
So yeah, whenever you take this off, make sure that you don't drop the filament, the tip. Make sure you loop it through one of the holes on the roll so that it doesn't do that and prevent future tangles. But to reload, you just hit the load button. It will heat the print. It'll heat the print head, and it will also, when it's ready, it will say, okay, please insert the filament. Insert it in, and I'll take this out for a second. Oh, there's some stuff here. But I don't know if you can.
It won't hurt his print, right?
No.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna take this off for a second and show you. So this white tube is where the filament goes through. You put the filament through the back, and that's like really self-explanatory. But this white tube.
Point at where it goes in. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the white tube. The white. No, that's okay. The white tube. The white tube pops out really easily. So if it does pop out, you're just gonna make sure you need to push it back through this little like rubber black hose at the back, and that'll just, I don't know, keep it from messing itself up too bad. And then there's a little, if I may,
Yeah.
actually, there's a little yellow cogwheel that's visible on the left hand side of the extruder, and that yellow cogwheel is the extruder turning and extruding stuff. So if you see that cogwheel turning, it means that the extruder is trying to grab your filament when you're pushing it in. And you should be able to, on the back, like put your finger right here and feel the filament being pulled into the black rubber hose right there. You should feel it like rubbing on your finger as it's pulling through, and that's how you know that.
Do you test that when it's first like making those test lines?
No, it's just like when you're loading the filament in the loading dialog. That's how you know that it's grabbed onto the filament and that it's got it, and you know that you can go. And so when it's finished, you just hit like finish loading or whatever, like finish the dialog, and it will like do some. It will like try and purge itself and like squirt out some filament into the little box in the back. But anyways, like, so that's what you need to know. And yeah, it's pretty obnoxious that the filament is on the back of the printer like this, because if it was somewhere else, then it would be a lot easier to see when the tangles happen. But because it's hidden out of sight, it's kind of, it happens a lot unnecessarily, kind of. But yeah, to change the filament, once you change the filament, you also have to tell the printer that you have changed the filament, and you go into this dialog. You can hit this spool holder button. Sometimes it takes a second to pop up the dialog, but once it does, you can select the new type of filament. You can also change the color if you want to, so it like shows a different color. But and then because if the type of filament on the file that it's trying to print does not match the type of filament that the printer thinks it currently has loaded, then it will be like, you need to, it won't work. Yeah, you have to change it so they match. And then I can hold it for now. And then what else? Yeah, so when the printer starts, it does like a self sort of leveling thing, and it usually takes about like 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, depending on if like if it needs to heat up more. Some types of filaments require like a hotter print environment, and so I'm gonna put this back, but so it'll do these taps, and it will do this whole thing. It'll show you here, like if this is very blurry. So it'll show you here like the nozzle temperature and the bed temperature and all that stuff, and it'll also tell you the target nozzle and bed temperatures. So if it's like taking a long time, that might be why. You can check those temperatures to see what's going on. You can also tap on these temperatures to see like the loadout. You almost never need to change these settings unless you really know what you're doing. But if you're a beginner and this video is helpful to you, this is probably not the menu you want to be in. Yeah. So yeah, it'll go around and tap the thing, and just like good practice is to wait. There's this little light thing to turn on the light inside, and you want to wait until the first layer of these lines on the edge have gone down and they look good, and also until it is like actually started printing, like the first layer, and you see that the print is going down before you walk away from it, because yeah, like if any problems happen, that's where it's most likely to happen. And I guess like you could walk away from it, but because it's a community space, if the printer is being used and or at least if it has started badly, it's helpful for everyone else's time to make sure that it is not printing or like you don't have failed prints going off all the time. And then
Do you have to clean up if there's anything? I mean, like, obviously you want to clean up, but, like, for example, at the back of this print, there's, I guess they called it spaghetti. Like, it's...
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on back there, but yeah, like you want to make sure that there isn't anything on the plate when you're starting a new print. So you'll have to peel off all the little like test lines and everything.
You do
And
that
also,
before the plate's heated, right?
yeah,
Just with your fingers.
yeah, it comes off easily. And I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I think that's most of it. Yeah, just make sure you watch the first lines go down, and then you can walk away from it. Oh yeah, and if you have put in the wrong plate, and started a print, it will go through like usually like half of the steps of self leveling and doing all the self diagnostics, and then there will be a dialogue that says like, oh, the wrong plate is detected, or like this is not like a bamboo certified plate, something like that, and you have to hit continue. If you don't, it will just hang forever. So
Okay.
you have to hit continue, and that's another reason that you want to hang out for the first bit to make sure that it is doing what it's supposed to be doing before you walk away.
Is it best practice to come and check back every half hour or something, or not really?
No, once it started, you should be good.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if it's a really long print, like more than 6 hours, I would say you should come back and check on it as frequently as you can. Because yeah, I don't know, like it's not guaranteed to finish, it's not guaranteed to work right, and if it is like printing something that is like more than like 12 hours and it gets halfway through and something bad happens but it keeps on going, I just waste a lot of people's time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And a lot of filament potentially. So yeah. I don't know what else there's is special to say. We've got a few different types of filaments here, and I don't know. They're mostly labeled. A few of them aren't, and the mystery filaments that aren't labeled, it's difficult to know how to use them because they're not labeled.
Right.
So, but yeah.
How much, like, how many hours does like one of these last?
So a full spool is probably gonna. I don't know how many hours of printing. I don't know. It depends on the filament. Okay, the softer filaments usually take much longer. So like if you're trying to make a I forget the names of the filaments. TPU print usually takes like 2.5 times as much as one of the harder ones, because I think the print head has to go a lot slower. And so there's that. And so yeah, if you don't need to make it out of TPU, I wouldn't advise it just because it takes forever, and we don't have very much TPU here. And yeah, we have a ton of PLA, we have a ton of ABS, and a ton of PETG, and those are all great filaments for most things that you need to do. They have like different properties, but I don't want to get into it. It's not really.
You gave us the beginners. I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what we need.